When did Ishmael become a great nation?
So the question is, when did Ishmael become a great nation? If you look at the writings of the 7th century Christians, they saw the Islamic Empire as the fulfillment of Old Testament prophecy, that this was the Arab nation becoming a great nation.
Yes.
But what you have to understand
My question is, there's nowhere, apart from there's nowhere the word El Gibor is used.
Haven't you said this before?
I've said it, but you need to respond to that because
But
that was the topic.
I can't respond to
So
it.
then it proves the point.
So can we now move on?
He's conceded a point. Okay, he's conceded a point.
I don't concede because I don't know. I've not investigated it.
Okay, I'll do it next
Simple
week.
as that. So
Okay.
can we now move on?
No, we're not moving on because I'm discussing Isaiah 9:6, and I'll tell you why it's important. I'll tell you why it's important. It's important because,
Why is it
like you
important?
said, the word El Gibor
what about it?
is used that is only used for Yahweh.
How do you know that?
I'm saying you can go through the Bible.
Okay.
If you don't know,
Haven't we had this conversation before?
You barrage her with questions, let her finish her point.
again.
You obviously don't know.
I don't know. You're right. There are lots of things I don't know. There are lots of things I don't know.
This is a very simple Bible study method. You don't know how to study the Bible.
Okay, I don't. You're
Okay,
right.
and you are coming here to make points.
I defer to you.
No, you don't know because
I don't know. You're right.
there is something called the blue letter, the simple base of the blue letter Bible,
Okay.
the strong numbers
Haven't you said this
lexicon.
before? Haven't you said
no,
this
but
before?
how can you not know? You're coming here to make
just
claims towards Christianity.
I don't know.
But yeah, you don't even know how to do the basics of Bible
I don't know.
study.
You have exposed
Then
me
you shouldn't
successfully.
make claims.
All right. Now, can we now move on to
Isaiah and Gabor. El Gabor.
29, where Solomon is worshipped by God?
I'm still on Isaiah 9.
So what is your point about?
What's the point?
Explain that. She won't get
Right, finish it.
Isaiah 9. What's your point about Isaiah 9?
I'm interrupting him. I'm not interrupting her.
You come in.
I'm interrupting her.
Yes.
I'm interrupting him. Yeah, but he's not letting her speak. He's not letting her speak.
No, you're not letting her speak.
No, this is going on right here. You guys came and started heckling.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
because
They were talking
you don't
perfectly
believe a
before you
woman
guys
can
came
talk
in.
for herself. So you guys came and just started trying to make her point for her.
Yes.
Shut up.
Yes.
Be quiet.
That's the Muslim.
That's the Yes, bro.
Yes. This is your
So
point.
let me finish. So,
And then I'm going to make my point again,
yes.
right?
So I only came here to respond to you that Isaiah 9:6 clearly is referring to the Messiah. Okay, if you look at it, even
Is that your only point?
no, that's not my
Bible it says that
And
women shut up
secondly,
and sit at home.
the point is that it uses words that describe only Yahweh.
Are you going to You said this before, haven't you?
I've said it before. Then I need you to repeat that.
I can't check that. I can't. So what is your point?
So the second point is that the second point, it uses everlasting Father.
Yeah.
Again, the Hebrew word there is Aviad, which means Father of eternity, source of eternity. So again, here we have this Son, okay, being described by the source of eternity. Okay, and we have it, being this Son being described as El Gibor. Tell me where else? Where else?
El Gibor, but I don't. Sorry, I didn't say this before. I'll admit this. I don't know Hebrew. I know you've not. I don't know this. I can't tell you. I don't know Hebrew.
So show me who else, apart from the Son and Yahweh, is described as the source of eternity.
Okay.
So then
Are you finished now?
That comes to the point. That makes the point that this Isaiah 9:6 is not only messianic, but it's also confirming that the Messiah is God.
Now, can you please
So can you
address?
respond to that?
Can you
respond to that?
can you address my points then about? Because I made a point as well. Can you now address that, please?
So first of all,
I made a point, and now would you address it? You've reiterated your point about Isaiah 9:6. I'm now wanting to address the point I made as well, which is to do with Solomon being worshipped and sitting on the throne of Yahweh, being worshipped. Can you address that, please?
right. So I came here not to address that. I came here to
No, but
respond
I'm
to
asking
Isaiah
you,
9:6.
Are you saying you're not going
I
to
came
address
here to address
but I'm
Isaiah
inviting
9:6.
you now to address
But you've
other
now
passages.
changed the topic.
In
You are now
addition.
changing. No, you are changing the topic
wrong?
to go to
that
another
wrong?
place.
No.
I haven't looked What verse are you?
Is it wrong what I'm doing, asking you to look at other passages?
No, you're looking at, this is beside the point here. I am saying, I came to respond to the fact that you were saying that Isaiah 96
You
was
weren't
talking about the
responding to my
Messiah.
point.
Yes, I was.
Can I explain why you weren't responding to my point? That you made a mistake. Because you jumped in late, you weren't... Because you jumped in late, you weren't aware of the full context. You just came in and you just started speaking. My point was that your friend who you've never met before, though she has an excellent knowledge of your reading habits, made a claim that Jesus worships God in the book of Revelation. And I said, yeah, he is, according to Revelation. But I also said, is it not the case that many other people in the Bible are worshipped and called God? And I gave a number of examples, one of which was Isaiah 9:6. Now, I wasn't fetishizing, like we are, about this one passage alone, exclusively, and we'll not talk about anything else. It was part of a whole range of other passages in the Bible, which also have other people other than Jesus being worshipped as God. So when you refuse to address these other passages, you're not addressing my point, you're setting up your own agenda, which is completely different from the one I had with this lady who's now disappeared. So when I ask you to comment on these other passages, I'm doing what the conversation was about before you arrived and before you interrupted. So I invite you now to address the question we were discussing, not your erroneous, mistaken idea of what we're discussing. Now, is it not the case that other people are called God in the Bible and worshipped? 1 Chronicles 29, Psalm 45, verse 6 and 7, Psalm 82, and Isaiah 9:6. But these other passages you are studiously ignoring. So I'm inviting you now to, in the spirit of the conversation I was having with this lady, before you came along and interrupted, I want you now to address the question.
So in the other scripture you're referring to, you said the Hebrew word that was being used.
No, I've never mentioned a Hebrew
Yeah,
word.
you did. You spoke about Elohim. Did you or not?
He did mention Elohim.
He
Yeah, he did mention it.
No, I didn't. I said, no,
He did mention it.
Don't lie now.
coming back to 1 Chronicles 29, let me show you what it says in Hebrew. Because this is a well-known, if you look at 1 Chronicles 29, it talks about the Lord. The Lord there in English is in small capital letters, which is a convention that Bible translators utilize when the Hebrew refers to Yahweh. How do I know that? Because Bruce Metzger, in the beginning of the New Standard Version, says precisely that. You can read it for yourself. So that's how they translated it. So we know this passage refers to Yahweh, uniquely Yahweh. Solomon receives worship along with Yahweh. Solomon sits on the throne of Yahweh, according to 1 Chronicles 29. My question to you is Solomon God?
There is an obvious answer to that.
Well, I don't want to hear it from you then.
That's
I want to
fine.
hear it from this lady.
But why are you tricking her? You want the truth, right?
So first of all,
No, I don't want the truth. No, I want lies. I want lies.
Deception.
I'm going to be honest.
You're right.
He said he wants lies.
I do. You're right. You're right. Answer your question now. Go away. Now, carry on. Calm down. Let her speak. Let her speak.
He said he doesn't want truth.
He said that. He did
So
say
you want to
that.
listen? I've answered your question. You can go away. Isn't that wonderful? I've satisfied your answer. Okay, go on. So,
I have not looked at First Chronicles 29. I'm going to go away and have a look. No, I'm going to be honest. I've not looked at it. But you said something that I want to...
what about Psalm 45?
No, hang on.
She's responding.
Let me respond. Don't interrupt me.
Let her respond.
Who are you?
Too many moderators. She's.
I need to respond.
Focus on the sister.
Let her respond.
Okay, but he's interrupting.
Let her respond.
So my point is simply, I walked into a conversation where I heard, tell me, you can go, no,
address the passage.
let me respond please.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Will you address Psalm
I'd like to
45,
respond.
1 Chronicles 29,
Why do you want me to
Psalm
respond?
She's trying to respond, but you keep talking over her.
And I would like to know,
Let her respond.
I walked into a conversation where you were saying, and you've just repeated yourself now, to say Isaiah 9:6 is not referring to the Messiah, and you were saying Isaiah 9:6 is not talking about God, right? I am saying, I've come to respond to Isaiah 9:6. Are you agreeing that Isaiah 9:6 is talking about the Messiah? And are you agreeing that Isaiah 9:6 is talking about someone uniquely referring to
I
someone.
don't agree with anything you've said.
Okay. So
Will
then
you-
you
will
need
you
to tell me
address my
why.
point?
I'm
Will
saying
you
to you,
address
I'm not
my
coming to
point?
address that
She
because
said
I have
she
not
needs to
looked into
study
it.
that.
What about, okay.
What do you want
She
me to
said she
say?
needs
Right, what about,
study that.
but let's look at it now, because it's not
No,
rocket science.
no, I have not looked into
Wait,
it.
shall we look at it now? Okay.
No,
Here is a Christian
no,
Bible.
because you haven't
Let's look
finished
at it now.
responding to my point on Isaiah 9:6.
I have finished.
No, you haven't. You've said I've made the point that Isaiah 9:6 refers to the Messiah. I've made the point that it
So
uses
you
the
only
word.
respond when I've responded to 9:6. Is that your point? Your only response is I have.
That's what she said.
You keep interrupting me. Should we time this actually? Let's time
no.
this. No, because I can't. You can't keep interrupting me. I'm making. You are disagreeing with my point, and you need to tell me why.
Okay, let me explain to you why.
Isaiah 9:6. You claim to have looked into it. And you need to tell, yes.
Maybe I'm lying.
So
You
you need
think
to
I
show
could
me where else the word El Gibor
I don't know.
is
Oh,
used
by the
to
way,
describe
folks,
anyone
I don't know
apart
any
from
Hebrew.
Yahweh.
I don't know any Hebrew. Haven't we said this before?
So if you don't know, you don't understand the Bible, right?
I don't understand the Bible.
Then why are you making comments on it?
You won't let me take time.
You won this argument. You won
Why
the
are you making
you
comments?
won. I don't understand the Bible. You won the
So
argument.
I'll repeat myself again and just explain Isaiah 9. Okay.
Okay.
Paul is right when he says there are scriptures in the Bible that uses the word things like Elohim, you know, that translated God. He uses the word both for Yahweh and for other people. He's right when he says that. I give him that point. However, there are some words that are used to describe Yahweh alone. That's the point I'm saying.
Which words are those?
Like El Gibor.
Oh, by the way,
for
everyone,
example,
you don't know this, but I'm going to make it
Don't
clear.
interrupt me.
I do not know Hebrew.
Why did you say that previously?
Oh, hang on. Haven't I said that before? You did, yes. Are you sure? Oh, it's a
And
bombshell.
you've already said that they don't want to engage about the university. I think that's wise until you've looked into it. He's now just mocking you.
The guy, we live in the same day.
He's now just mocking you.
Did you ever see Groundhog
Why are
in
you
the film?
interrupting me? Why don't we finish?
No, I'm asking you a question. Did you ever see
Is
Groundhog?
he just
Oh,
mocking
you wanna
now,
go back-
Paul? You're not making an argument, you're just mocking.
No, she's just going to go back on Paul.
Why don't you
Which she's made about 10 times.
That was the point that she wanted
She's going to
to
make 10 times. So she
What
can't
about
make
Groundhog?
Why are you not
I think
responding
the
to
conversation's
it,
kind of dried up.
Yeah.
The
Why
sister
you not
has
responding
responded
to
to the
it?
point that she
And
wanted
she-
to
no,
respond
you
to.
So you don't know.
can't
You are
respond to
making a point
She's
about
not, well, she's
Isaiah
already
9,
said that
even
she
though
hasn't
you
looked
don't
into
know.
it.
said that.
And that is a
You don't
wise
know.
thing,
And
would you
yet
not agree?
you are making
That you
a
shouldn't
point.
talk about
I-
things
I
of which you're
suggest
ignorant.
If you don't
So
know
the sister is
something,
acting
don't make
wisely.
anything.
He's acting
I have
wisely as
not
well.
Yeah,
looked at
no,
he
but
said
now
he doesn't know.
But
She
now
wants
he's
to
just
carry
being
on.
patronising.
No, he just wants
He's
to
just
carry
being
on.
patronising.
She wants to keep repeating.
He's mocking
He keeps repeating her points.
Don't mention about Isaiah 9 until you do your detailed study. Okay?
Good point. Good
So
point.
there you go.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Okay. When you're gone, I'm going to make a point to camera about 9:06.
Sister, he's obviously a man full of his own ego. He's full of his own ego.
So basically what happened was I walked into Paul and Hashim making some funny points about, you know, Jesus can't be God because Isaiah 9:6 is using the word God to describe someone else. It's first of all not saying he's Yahweh, it's not describing the Messiah. He makes all these points about Isaiah 9:6 and I come to him and say, this is the reason why Christians make the point that Jesus is God. First of all, if you look at Isaiah 9:6, you can see it clearly from verse 7. You can see, first of all, it's clearly a Messianic verse. You know, it talks about the Son, and if you look at early Jewish interpretation, they call this very much a Messianic verse. In Isaiah 9:6, it uses words like El Gibor, Avid, everlasting Father, which means Father of eternity, to describe a son. You know, this is why as Christians we'll go back to say this is one of the proofs where there's a son being used. You know, the word God, the word El Gibor, the word used only to describe God is being used to describe the Messiah. You know, but yet when I come and confront, because Paul was happy to make his mouth at people that don't know the word of God properly. When I now come and confront him and I say, show me where else in the Bible, first of all, that the word El Gibor is used to describe any other apart from Yahweh, he doesn't know. He doesn't know Isaiah 9:6. So if you don't know, why are you making a point about Isaiah 9:6? And then he tries to distract, going to this verse, that verse, you know, and that is just distracting from the point. The point is, there are words used to describe only Yahweh, that is the same words are used to describe the Messiah, even in the Jewish Bible. That's the simple point.
When did Ishmael become a great nation?
So the question is, when did Ishmael become a great nation? If you look at the writings of the 7th century Christians, they saw the Islamic Empire as the fulfillment of Old Testament prophecy, that this was the Arab nation becoming a great nation.
Yes.
But what you have to understand is that fact that God made, according to his own testimony, the Arabs into a great nation, doesn't mean that they had revelation from God. And it doesn't mean, one second, and it doesn't mean that God supports Islam. All it means is that God is true to his promises that he would make the descendants of Abraham into mighty nations. Bearing in mind, he says that Ishmael and his descendants will be like an ass in the world, like a donkey, kicking around all the people around him.
Okay. Shall I answer you?
I haven't asked a question.
Oh no, but I'll
I
answer.
haven't. Whoa. You've just asked me a question, and you say,
Okay.
"Shall I answer you?" I've not asked a question. May I ask a question?
Okay, but
May I ask a question?
You can ask a question, but let me just tell you what I say about what you say.
Okay.
Okay? When it comes down to Ishmael becoming a great nation, this is only through the divine revelation sent to Muhammad, peace be upon him, and that's confirmed in Isaiah 60 when the Gentiles are coming from afar to the light at the altar and ram offerings of Nebiyoth and Qadar. In Genesis 25, Nebiyoth and Qadar are the first two sons of Ishmael, and they are the Saudi's descendants, and the altar is made beautiful, and the gates are never shut for worship night and day, in Isaiah 60. So when it comes down to it, Ishmael did become a great nation through Muhammad, peace be upon him. That's the only way that Islam became a great nation.
May I reply to that?
The Arabs became a great nation.
May I reply to that? You're arguing that from the second generation of Abraham,
I say that was brilliant, man, over there. This
brother,
everything.
you
was
got to
brilliant.
feel sorry
That was
for
brilliant.
you got to
That
feel
was
sorry
brilliant.
for all those people that became Muslims because they hate white slavery. You got to feel sorry for it. Anyway, but that's a different matter. That's a different matter. So my question to you, and amen, you know. So no, not at all. Have you?
Yeah, I can smell alcohol somewhere.
Yeah, it's not me. Someone smelled it. It's not me. Let me ask. So the point is, you're leaping from the second generation after Abraham, because of course Ishmael worshipped the God of Abraham, and of course it's clear from the evidence you've just given, the children of Ishmael worship the God of Abraham. But you can't evidence that there's a line of prophets from Ishmael to Muhammad.
Because there were no prophets,
And
as
you-
stated in the Quran, and there were Israelites. At first, the covenant of Islam was
And-
within the Israelites.
And
That's confirmed in the Quran.
Islamic history clearly shows that the Arabs were pagan worshippers at the time of Muhammad.
Yeah, that means they innovated, because we had no prophets or guidance until after Ishmael. There were no prophets until after Muhammad was sent,
So
and
now-
they were corrected and reverted back to monotheism.
Now-
how Abraham and Ishmael knew the God of Abraham.
Now you've asked me a question. If I can find it, I'd like to ask you a question. This is assuming that I
If I
can
can
find
answer
the
it,
verse.
inshallah.
So my question to you is, according to the holy book that you believe in, let's just get the passage first. It helps. You believe in the words of Allah, obviously, and you believe that Allah is not wrong, right?
Yeah.
So when Allah says something, He's going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever he says, be and it is.
So
It's been very
yeah.
good.
So if He says I'm going to do something,
Yeah.
that means He'll do it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the Quran, in Surah 14, verse 4, it says, "We sent not a messenger except to teach in the language of his own people in order to make things clear to them." So could you tell me where the prophet is to the English people?
Okay, when it comes down to it, first of all, he's that final messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When he talks about that, he's talking about past revelation. Yeah. So originally, Arabic is the language of Allah, the language of the angels, the language of the community of Adam. Yeah. So from the time of Abraham to the time of Adam to the time of Abraham, it had corrupted to Aramaic and Hebrew, and the other languages came about when they tried to build the Tower of Babel, and Allah destroyed it. Yeah. So from the time of Adam to Abraham, it corrupted into Aramaic and Hebrew, just like you got Shakespearean English, modern day English, and American English. Yeah. So that's what's happening. God sent down the revelation to them in corrupted Arabic, which is Aramaic and Hebrew.
Okay.
So that's what he means in that verse.
So when it says we send not a messenger,
Yeah.
we send not
Yeah.
a messenger,
Only-
except to teach in the language of his own people,
Yeah.
you're applying this to the past, not the present.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the Quran, which is in Arabic, not in English, is a message to me.
Yes.
Even though the Quran says we send not a messenger except to teach in the language
Yes.
of his own people.
Yeah, because Muhammad is the last messenger. Yeah, you guys, there's no more messengers. If
But he said, no, hold on.
If Muhammad wasn't the last messenger and you guys had a messenger that's in English,
It says we send not a messenger.
Yeah, we have not sent a messenger.
So where is
that
the-
means past tense, right?
Where is the exclusion
Past tense.
to the last prophet?
Past tense. Muhammad says in the Quran, Khatam al-Anbiya, the seal of prophets. He's the final messenger, the last warner to mankind.
Where in this text do you find that it gives an exception to the last prophet?
Yeah,
So it's not in this verse.
there's many other verses.
It's many other verses, but it's not in this verse.
No.
So when this verse says we send not a messenger except to teach in the language of his own people,
Yeah.
you're saying Muhammad is a messenger to us all, even though he doesn't speak English.
هذا الذكر no, it's رحمة للعالمين, like the Prophet peace be upon him is a mercy to all mankind.
Yeah.
He's saying basically when he's conveying the message to the Jews, yeah, to like who speak Hebrew and Aramaic, he's showing them that this is the same message, same God that came to them, yeah, with their language that's come with the Arabic language, yeah. So
yeah.
God's saying that to them. That's why you had many Jews and rabbis that embraced Islam, such as Abdullah bin Salim, who's the most knowledgeable of the rabbis.
Well, you've got to bear in mind that is after the Muslim community kicked the Jews' ass and basically.
No, Abdullah bin
murdered
Salim
a whole
was
bunch.
in Medina. He was from Medina.
I
He
think
was from
the
Yathrib.
choice. Yeah, but anyway, that's by the by. The point that I'm getting from what you're saying is that you're saying that the Quran is a message to me.
Yes.
Now let me give you a message. Confitio Dei omnipotenti et vobis fretres quae peccavi cogitatione et commissione.
What's that? Is
Mea
that
culpa, mea maxima culpa,
Is that
idigo
Latin?
preco Mariam Surgeon Virginem,
Is
et
that Latin?
angelos et sanctos et vos fretres,
Okay.
orere pro
This is
mea
not
dominum
Semitic.
Deum
This has got
nostrum.
nothing to do with the God of Abraham.
So
this
one
language.
second. Is this message any good to you?
No.
No. Now,
Why? Shall I tell you why?
One second. So your logic is that my message to you, and actually it wasn't a message, it was a prayer, but my
That's
message
not a prayer.
to you,
Sorry, that's not a prayer.
it was a prayer actually, it was. I know Latin.
Not divine. Latin. Thank you. You
that
said
was a prayer.
Latin.
Oh, yeah,
you said Latin.
So my point to you
No,
is,
first
my point to you
of
is,
all-
exactly.
How do you know? You just said you didn't understand it.
But he's saying that it's not a prayer.
No,
but
we're
this is a
saying
sidetrack.
there was no divine
Hashim,
authorization from God to
Hashim,
speak
Hashim,
Latin.
you're getting off the point.
Sending the message
Hashim,
of
you're getting off the point.
Hassan.
Sorry, my apologies. Hassan, you're
yeah.
getting off the point. My name's Bob, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
You know, Mr. Irrelevant, Bob the Builder. You know that, right?
Robert, yeah.
Yeah. So my point to you is, I've just given you something that I described a message, which falsely it's not. It's a prayer.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make a point that it couldn't be understood, and you agreed it was useless to you, and I agree with you, it was. But yet you're in the next breath going to say to me that the Quran, which is in Arabic, not in English,
Yeah.
is suddenly a message to me.
Yes. Even if you don't
Isn't that
understand.
a double standard?
No, it's not a double standard. Even if you do not understand the Arabic language, the language that was sent, when you hear it, even if you don't understand, you're going to feel it. There's something there with that language.
I've
it was the
listened to
first
the Quran.
language
What
of the
is it?
children.
What is it? You just said something there with that language. What is
Yeah,
it?
that the soul will accept. Because on the day of judgment,
I've
you will
listened to the
understand
Quran.
that language.
I've listened to
on the day of
recitations
judgment, you
of
will
the Quran.
understand Arabic on the day of judgment.
And I haven't had this spiritual experience you're talking about.
Huh? Well, you know what? Because Allah says in the Quran, like, yeah, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This is a book where there's no doubt in it. Guidance to those who are conscious
There are lots of
of
doubts
the
about the
Creator.
Quran.
No.
There are lots of doubts
Conscious.
about it.
So Allah's saying in the Quran, no one's going to accept the Quran unless they're really, truly, sincerely conscious to God. If you're not accepting it, then you're not really conscious to God.
Or it could just be that the
you
Quran
go on
doesn't
ego,
convey a message.
You go on ego problem that, oh, it's in Arabic. Why should I?
That's
I'm
not an
English.
ego problem, that's a fact.
That's an ego problem.
That's not
yeah?
an ego
They
problem,
should-
that's a fact.
the
I
children of
can't
Adam,
understand
look,
the Quran
the children of Adam,
because
you-
it's in Arabic.
You can read it in English, but like
So what
it's
you're
good
saying to me,
it's-
what you no, you
In
spoke,
order to feel
Hassan,
it-
Hassan,
Yeah,
Hassan,
yeah.
you spoke a while.
Yeah.
Your argument is essentially that I should learn Arabic, that I should accept the Quran in Arabic because that's how it was revealed.
It was
and that's
revealed
how
by
God
the
spoke
angel
it.
Gabriel.
So one second.
By
There's a
the
problem
angel
with this
Gabriel.
logic. There's a
Just
problem
like
with this
Hebrew and
logic.
Aramaic
There is a
was.
problem with this logic. Because what that means essentially is that the rest of us have to become culturally slaves to the Arab Muslims.
Oh no!
Because
But
only
it's
the
okay
Arab
to be
Muslims.
culturally English, right? Yeah.
No,
Christian
only
missionaries,
It is
Africans
not-
talking English.
Oh, it's not an obligation in
Africans
Christianity
talking-
for anyone to speak
Africans
English.
talking
It
English.
is an obligation
The English
that you've
language
just said
everywhere,
that
or the French
everyone
language
should
everywhere
learn
in
Arabic.
Africa, in Korea.
So This
South
is
Korea.
not, Hassan, this is not.
South Korea.
Hassan.
South Korea. Western Korea is South
Yeah.
Korea. It's got Korean with English, right?
So what?
Samsung.
That's because English is the language of merchandise. English is the language of trade. That's got more to do with commerce than it has to do with religion.
God has given us a universal language, yeah, for us to speak.
It's not Arabic.
The creator.
We can't understand
you
it.
can understand it.
No, we
You
can't.
understand. There are Muslims that understand it.
if
But
an
just
Arab
like-
tells us-
they're just like people who are speaking English today, that's been replaced with Arabic. English has been replaced. There's two multicultural languages. The ones that's in competition, they're trying to compete with Arabic, is English. Yeah, they're trying to replace English. Of course. That's why a lot of people comment they don't speak English. Do you think it's a universal language because of the media?
Brother.
You got people that
Brother.
are European that don't know English.
Hassan.
Yeah?
Hassan.
But Arabic is the language
Hassan,
that is universal.
When we started this,
Yeah?
if you remember, we were only going to do one question each. My intention was,
I'm
if
just
you remember
saying-
when we started,
Yeah.
I said I couldn't stay for very long, and I said that at the very beginning. Yeah? So I do have to go.
Okay, sure.
I don't want you to think I'm running away. You remember I said it at the
I'll
very
see you
start
again.
that I had to.
I'll see you again.
We'll
You
pick
got
it up
the
another
ego.
time.
Okay, so you got the
No,
ego.
no, no. It's
but-
not an ego problem. It's a fact. The
not a
Arabic
fact.
of the Quran is not English. I can't understand it. It's not a book for me.
Well,
it's not a
there are a
message
lot
to
of
me.
English people who understand
Not
the
a
Arabic
message.
and speak in Arabic. Yeah?
saying-
You got
I'm
a
saying to
problem
you that if
because
Allah
when
wants to
Jesus
speak in the
comes back-
world, to the world, he can do better than Arabic.
Sorry,
That's all I'm saying.
are you mad?
Yeah, I'm saying you could do better.
The language Arabic is an eloquent, rich language. It's not
We
like
can't
English.
understand Arabic. Yes?
Yeah.
That's what you said, yes?
Sorry?
No, you said you couldn't open your heart to the Quran.
Quran, because
No,
we're
no, no.
ego.
We're saying like
Anyway,
even
I've gotta
if,
go.
even
I've
if
gotta
you
go.
don't understand the
Look after
Arabic,
yourself.
you
Have a lovely
feel it.
afternoon.
You feel there's
I've gotta
something
go.
with that
I've gotta
language.
go.
It's not the language.